How's it going, knife nerds? Alright, today we have the Chaves Ultramar Street 4th generation full titanium Tanto blade. You get a very nice box with this. It is produced by Riot. That was the MSRP, or the retail value there, $335. There you go. There's the name. Chaves key on top and Ultramar on the front. A lot of people make the mistake of calling it a Ultramar Street 229. That is not how it works. The Street and the 229 are two different models. Well, they're the same knife, just different sizes. And all the websites have messed this all up. They're calling it Street 229 when it should be either Street or 229. Anyhow, funny story. So you get a nice padding on top here. You get your tasty snack. And then it is coming with both clips nowadays. You get a plain Jane style clip for those who hate the skull. And you get the infamous Chaves skull clip. And so beautiful presentation, quality packaging, gotta love it. And let's start with some eye candy as always. This is a very attractive knife. We've got just a plain Jane stonewashed finish all around. Sorry about the focusing issues. We've got stainless hardware. I'm not sure if that is titanium or stainless. I have not checked this fact, but I'm fairly certain it is stainless hardware. Big beefy jimping up top there on the scales. And yeah, not a whole lot else to say about how it's built. It's a very straightforward plain Jane build. And it is a thumb stud only deployment. And let's see here. Yep, okay, it works for me today. And so I've got the Tanto tip here. M390 steel. This is the 4th generation, the latest version of the Street. And Street Redencion. And God, look at those freaking grinds, guys. That is just gorgeous. Riot is the absolute best in the game at belt satin grinds, and they just kill it every freaking time. That is sexy. I don't care who you are, that is a beautiful grind. We do have that big beefy jimping on the top of the blade there. Beautiful blade swedge. I love the Tanto on this knife, and it is hollow ground here, and beautifully so. It is a very deep hollow grind, and it's got a very slicey edge here. M390, as you can see there, dual thumb studs. You can deploy it from both left and right hand with the thumb studs. And okay, so basics out of the way. It is 3.25 inch blade, kind of small, and this being the 4th generation that just dropped here in January of 2022. This version is a little hair shorter than the 3rd generation or any previous generation of the Ultramar Street series, and it's a little bit shorter in the handle, like maybe a 1/4 inch shorter in the handle. And I've seen some comparison pictures online, and you know, the old version was just a little bit longer, and it was actually a little bit wider in this direction too. So this is a slimmer, more compact version of the Street Redencion. And no complaints from me on that, but some people that have owned the previous versions did say that they preferred the size of the older versions, and so there's that thing to consider. But this is my first experience with a Chaves. Now, let me tell you why this knife is not going to be a keeper for me. I overall like the aesthetics of this knife very much. I think it's super attractive. I like the build quality, which is insanely good from Riot. Everything is perfect on this knife. Perfectly centered blade, perfect early lockup. You know, there's absolutely no quality control issues with this knife at all. It is flawless. I've been planning to pick up a Chaves for about a year now. I used to kind of hate the skull clip, and then I said, yeah, it's starting to grow on me. Maybe I'll check it out. You know, there's a lot of hype about this knife, and I owe it to myself to see what the hype is about. And so that's what I did. I've been waiting for this drop for a while. They finally came, and you know, I jumped right on it. I picked mine up from River's Edge Cutlery. They were very prompt in shipping the knife and did a good job with the packaging, and no problems with River's Edge. They did a great job there. And you know, really, there's really nothing wrong with the knife. It's perfect. In fact, I have already sold this. I'm just whipping out a quick review and sending it to its new owner. Yeah, the reason that it's just not going to stick around for me is it's the thumb stud and the action of the knife. It's really just not my thing. I do like thumb studs, but they have to be easy to deploy thumb studs, and this knife is not easy to deploy. Since it's a little bit of a compact, you know, smaller knife, you can see that fits in the palm of my hand quite easily. It is small, and I'm barely getting four full fingers on there with enough room. The ergo's pretty good. The jimping is, I like the jimping on this. Oddly enough, it's super aggressive. It's got corners and it's grippy, but I do like the jimping here. But since it's compact, and because the lock bar is super sensitive to putting pressure on it with your finger, you have to hold this knife in a very funky way. You have to make sure these three fingers are like off the lock bar completely onto that big old clip, and that this little guy, your index finger, is not touching that lock bar in any shape or form. It has to be either rested here or completely off of the knife. And then you have to put your thumb here behind the thumb stud and push it directly forward towards where the blade is going to end up. Up, not out like this, but up. And so and again, if you put any lock bar pressure at all, you're going to have a problem deploying this blade. So I kind of have to like cup the knife into my palm like so. Fingers here, this finger off, and thumb here, and then good, you know, I can get the blade to deploy fairly easily. But if I don't do that exact grip, if I touch the lock bar at all, not going to deploy, and it's just absolutely shredding my thumb to death. And yeah, not my jam. Don't like it at all. Don't like the action on this knife. And that's not to say that the action is bad. It's got a snappy detent. It's very smooth. It's drop shutty to some extent, or shake shutty, I should say, with very smooth bearing action there. You know, very smooth. And actually, it's easier for me. I'm right-handed. It's easier for me to deploy this knife left-handed than it is right. So I can actually put this into my left hand, and boom, all day long, I'm able to snap that, you know, that thumb stud out, and it's super easy, and I don't have to hold it awkwardly. But I'm not left-handed. I'm right-handed. And so, you know, I got to get over here and do this funky grip and deployment. And yeah, I just don't like it. I think that once the knife breaks in, it's going to be easier to deploy and less damaging to the tip of your thumb. You know, I'm 100% certain that, you know, when somebody takes the time to break this knife in, it's going to get easier with time. And I'm aware of that fact, you know, and I hope the next guy enjoys it and, you know, loves that thumb stud action, but it's just not my jam. I'm totally, you know, a flipper guy at heart. You know, but if it is a thumb stud, it has to be a really good thumb stud deployment, and it has to be easy to deploy, like how a thumb stud J-cape is. And so, like for example, right now this has been my EDC for a couple of weeks. Here is my ZT-0452, and it's just, you know, after I tuned the action in this knife, it's just so stupid easy to deploy and close and disengage, and it's fidgety and it's easy to use when I need to use it. And you know, this is a what, $200 some odd dollar knife, and this to me all day long over this, because of the way the action is on this, because of the way that I have to hold it and all of that. There isn't a lot else that I hate about the knife. You know, the ergos are not bad. I don't hate the clip. I don't hate the build quality. I love the blade. I like the jumping. I like how they actually enlarged the sharpening choil on this generation 4 compared to the previous generations. This choil is much larger, and I think it looks better this way. And I think they should continue to do that. Now, all that being said, if Chaves were to build this knife in a 3.75 inch blade length with a bit larger of a handle, that would put it more into where I think I would actually freaking love this knife. It's just this little 3.25 inch is not, it's not, the size isn't working for me. And then if you step up to the 229 version, which is a little bit bigger, it's still not much bigger. This is 3.25 inch blade, and the 229 version is a 3.5 inch blade. So you're gaining a 1/4 inch of blade and maybe a 1/4 inch or so of handle. That's not a significant difference in size. It's not enough of a difference for me to say, okay, well this one's too small, I'll just get the 229 and be happy. I don't think it's going to work that way for me. I would absolutely like the knife a lot more in a much larger size, like a 3.75 inch, and then boom, that would be the sweet spot for me with the Chaves Redencion. And so that's going to be about it for me today, guys. I am sending this puppy off. I'm going to mail it right now off to the new owner. It is brand new. I just got it yesterday. And other than that, man, I've got a couple more videos coming your way. Later.